Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to MUFC vs. Everybody. As always, I am your host, Sean. And are you guys tired of seeing me yet? Are you guys tired of listening to me talk yet? I know I've been back and forth this afternoon on whether or not to jump on again to do another update. But there's just enough interesting things coming out just in the last few hours that I for sure wanted to make sure I stopped by, shared my thoughts, more importantly, got your thoughts on the latest breaking United news. Some big stuff popping off this afternoon. Probably going to see some big moves this week. So happy to be here to share it with you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we just get stuck into real quick little piece of United rumors this afternoon. It's not going to be super long. I'll always stop and read everyone's chats, get involved. So don't be afraid to throw your opinions and your feedback out there. But let's just jump into some of the big breaking news today. So if you read the title, we've got some breaking news coming from Philip Brown or Malakians on Twitter that Victor Lindelof is on the verge of finalizing his transfer out of Manchester United. So remember, he didn't train the other day. He was left out of the squad. So allegedly the reasons for that were, we wanted to keep him fit amidst all these transfer talks that sounds like they've been going on with Fenerbahce. You remember we reported the other day, we shared that news that Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho, who is now Fenerbahce's manager, are actively pursuing a deal for Lindelof to join them in Turkey. So again, this is coming from Phil Brown, aka Malakians on Twitter, that Victor Lindelof is close to leaving Manchester United. So does that necessarily mean Fenerbahce? That's the club that's been heavily linked, but it sounds like Lindelof could be out the door probably this week if all of this goes smoothly. So what are your thoughts on that? Would he be the one you get rid of? Would you maybe have preferred us to sell Maguire? Would you prefer sell both? I know we got a lot of center back issues that have just popped up within the last 12 hours or so. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here shortly, but yes, the big breaking news is Lindelof looks like he is close to leaving. The Iceman was signed by Jose Mourinho in that 17-18 summer window from Benfica and just hasn't quite done it to the levels that we really needed him to at United. He's not that great in the air. He's not very physically powerful. He's not crazy fast. I mean, he's kind of just that box defender, not in the same way that like a Branthwaite or a Maguire is, but he does what he needs to do sometimes. And I think that's what Jose Mourinho likes from his center backs, is just good in the box. Jose Mourinho is not like a Ten Hag out here looking for ball progression, playing out comfortable on the ball, fast recovery pace. That's not really what Mourinho is about. If Mourinho, given his choice, wouldn't have his center backs leave the 18-yard box at all, probably. So let me know your thoughts on Victor Lindelof looking closer and closer to leaving United. Again, that's coming from Malakians or Phil Brown on Twitter. So that could be popping off sometime tonight. It could be kind of announced, here we go. It could be this week. It's probably going to be this week, but let's see what happens there. Moving on a little bit. Want to talk a little bit about Højlund. Obviously, Højlund, Amad Diallo, and Lenny Euro kind of all went off yesterday against Arsenal, picked up some injuries. Ahmad, no one's really talked about Ahmad, but he does look like he picked up something. Hopefully that's not too bad. Hopefully, it's a no news is good news kind of situation. But so Paul Hurst, or Hurst Class on Twitter, is reporting that Højlund, anyway, is going to be a doubt for our next friendly, which is against Real Betis. I think that's in San Diego. But Hurst does add that Højlund's knock is not as bad as Euro's. I think the positives we can take from both of these players, and then Ahmad included, is that they all walked off the pitch on their own. Euro was obviously limping. It didn't seem like he could put any weight on his foot. And I know that feeling. Like, if you guys have been following, you know that towards the end of May, I tore a ligament in my foot playing footy. Could not put weight on it. Had to take a couple weeks off from the channel because this room is up a couple flights of stairs, and I could not really do stairs that well. I didn't trust myself to carry equipment and stuff up and down the stairs, so had to go on a hiatus. Still haven't been able to play footy. I'm fine as far as walking, a little bit of jogging here and there. It'll probably be another few weeks before I can think about trying to play footy, but I know the feeling of not being able to put the weight down on the foot. It is not good, but friendlies, am I right? This is why I can't stand them. So I read earlier too, in fact, that Bayern Munich's new center back, Ito, he broke his foot in their friendly, and he's going to be out for a while. So again, I can't stand friendlies. I cannot stand friendlies. I know. Have I said that before? Is that new for me? No, it's not. If we are still looking at Matthias de Ligt as the thumbnail implies, hopefully Bayern losing Ito for a few months doesn't hurt that deal. But I hope it doesn't. It's clear that de Ligt isn't in their plans. They brought in Kim Min-jae. They brought in Eric Dyer. They want Jonathan Tah. And, de Ligt wants to move. He's told them he wants to move. Obviously, we're in negotiations. Bayern are digging in their heels. So are we. So if they don't want him and they have all these defenders and they want a new defender, you'd think that, they'd still want him. But we will see how that goes. If they've lost Ito, maybe they're just going to keep de Ligt or make it harder. I don't know. But if they want Tah over de Ligt, you'd think they'd end with an injured defender. You'd think that maybe they'd want to get some funds in sooner than later so they can get Tah in. So again, remember, de Ligt wants to join United. He's already told them personal terms not an issue. He's willing to take a pay cut. So, and Bayern need to sell players right now. They brought in Elise, obviously they brought in Ito. They're trying to wrap up like a 50 million deal for Doué, and they want Jonathan Tah. They need to sell players. So we'll see. Anything is possible, really, right? And then speaking on Bayern, sticking with them for a second. So some more big news, as the thumbnail implies. There are reports today that we've reached a verbal agreement with Bayern for Noussair Mazraoui. The right back used to play at Ajax for Ten Hag, left Ajax for free, joined Bayern Munich that same summer that Ten Hag joined Manchester United. This news is coming from French Football News, and specifically Santi J with Foot Mercado, or Santi JFM on Twitter. Apparently, the agreement is 25 million euros or 21 million pounds for Noussair Mazraoui. Santi adds that United and West Ham have agreed on a deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but United are still waiting for Wan-Bissaka to agree personal terms with West Ham. So again, it's like this transfer triangle, this throuple of a situation going on. West Ham wanted Mazraoui, he rejected them. West Ham also wanted Wan-Bissaka. We want Mazraoui, we want to sell Wan-Bissaka. It's all connected at the same time while all these independent things are going on. I'd like us to get that price down for Mazraoui from the 21 million pounds. Hopefully, if it is around that 21 million pound, that's with add-ons included, not, add-ons added on to that. I think that if he, I don't want to spend that much on Mazraoui if that makes sense. I just think that we could get that price tag down, but we'll see how it goes. Again, it's one of those things that could be popping off. It could be a double swoop, de Ligt, Mazraoui, Bayern get, who they want in, Jonathan Tah, Desiree Doué, and they add, they bolster their defense. Who knows what's going on, but a lot of movement going on these past couple hours. I like what I've seen from Ineos and from Ashworth and everybody and Barada and everybody this summer. It's like when there's the Euros were done, we got the Xerxes stuff finalized. Friendly is done. We're getting moves finalized. We're doing multiple things at once. We're not just waiting and handling things one at a time. I really like what I've seen so far, and it's so funny because it's normal. It's the norm for a good, well-run club, especially a bigger club, to do these things. We just are so not used to it that for us, this is levels ahead of what we've been used to dealing with, and so it's just. We've been in the negatives. This is the baseline, and this is where really good clubs are. We've been way down here for so long. We're just starting now to get back to that baseline of functioning in terms of recruitment and transfer deals and those policies and things. So we'll see how it goes. But yes, it is coming out that it looks like Mazraoui is on the verge of joining United. That's probably going to be announced here this week sometime. Is the 21 million pounds, is that ideal for you? Hopefully that's the total package. What would you like to get for Wan-Bissaka if West Ham end up grabbing him? I'm hoping we can get at least between 10-15 million for Wan-Bissaka. But again, that's kind of up to Ashworth and co. to figure out how to negotiate that down. So We do have some potential developments regarding Youssouf Fofana. Some people were asking about some Fofana updates. It's been a little quiet since the other day when that move to AC Milan kind of fell through. So that stalled. And I think the reason for that is because Milan offered really low offer. It was like 17 million, I believe they offered to Monaco. Monaco are holding out for like twice that much. For a guy who's entering the final year of his contract, I mean, I feel like Monaco have to be a little more realistic, but 17 million does seem a bit low. So in any case, Loic Tanzi, he's a journalist with L'Equipe in France. He is reporting that West Ham are also now have made a 35 million euro offer for Fofana. So twice as much as what AC Milan offered. That's big for West Ham, considering, I know they lost Declan Rice. They brought in Calvin Phillips on loan. They've got Edson Alvarez in there, and they still have what's the dude's name? What's the Czechia, the tall dude? I always forget this guy's name. If you guys are in the chat, let me know who I'm talking about here. I have this so often where I know the information, but it's on the tip of my tongue, and it just disappears for a second. I'll remember it in a little. So West Ham offered 35 million euros for Fofana. Move to Milan has fallen through. I'm going to be honest with you right now, and if Danny B, if you're watching after the fact, I mean, you're going to love me saying this. It's not that I've been against Fofana. I really like Ugarte, but I'm starting to move more towards Fofana over Ugarte, to be honest. And admittedly, it's simply because of the issues with Euro and the finite amount of money we have. I'd like to see us stretch some of these funds a little bit farther. And I think that Fofana for like 30 million is probably a better deal than spending like twice that much on Ugarte right now. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Would you like us to swoop in and get that Fofana deal done if PSG are going to drag their heels? We'll see. We need to strengthen. I think midfield needs to really be a priority right now. I don't think Casemiro is quite up for it anymore. Fofana is a great player, and again, he's probably going to be half of what we might have to end up paying for Ugarte. So I don't think we would have to pay 70 million necessarily for Ugarte. I think it becomes an issue of how soon do you want to get the midfield strengthened? Do you want to wait and haggle, or do you want to get it done? It's not up to me. So West Ham making a big offer for Fofana after his move to Milan fell through. I think a lot of us would like to see United kind of step in and take that over, but we'll see. Sticking with midfield for a moment. So this is coming from Corriere dello Sport. They claim that Manchester United reportedly could end up signing Sofyan Amrabat on loan from Fiorentina again this season. So the outlet adds that this time there would be an obligation to buy rather than the option to buy, which is what we had last season. Remember, we were interested in him. We didn't have the money. We ended up bringing him on a loan. I think it was initial like 10 million fee, and then there was an option to buy for like 20 million, which obviously we didn't exercise. He went back to Fiorentina. I've said a couple times, I think that we let that deal run out because, and remember, I talked about Fiorentina's stadium renovations and how that was costing a lot and how they were going to be losing money, as their owner admitted, and that they were going to need to raise funds. So they might be under some pressure to take any offer they can. I think we were letting that deal run down. I think we were going to go back and maybe keep that option open and try to maybe get that for a cut price. And that's what Corriere dello Sport are kind of putting out there right now. They say that the fee this time would be around £10.5 million. So that's almost half of what we would have ended up paying if we exercised that option to buy this summer. Would you like to see us do that? I mean, 10 million for Amrabat, 25-30 million for Fofana. I mean, that's not a bad piece of business, right? That's still less than what PSG are asking for Ugarte, and you're getting two players. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see us do. Do a bit of scouting, do a really bit of shrewd pieces of business, and get multiple players in for the price of one player. I think those are the kind of things I'd like to see us do more often. So would you like to do that? Do you think Amrabat can hang? I know he had some rough spells to start. To his credit, he was played out of position. He's brand new to the league. He's not this defensive midfield destroyer that people think he was based on the World Cup. He's a ball-playing, progressive midfielder. And he started to show that a little bit more later on in the season. He came on later on in the last few months and really shined, I thought. So A lot of people like Amrabat. A lot of people take him. We still have McTominay kick around, who probably needs to be sold. I think Fulham are probably, the reports were the other day that Fulham were going to come back with another bid for McTominay. Would you sell McTominay? Would you bring in Amrabat? Let me know your thoughts. The midfield is kind of going crazy right now. So on top of that, though, we also have some fresh links to some wingers. We haven't talked about wingers in a little while because we were heavily linked with Michael Olise. Obviously, he went to Bayern Munich. Then there were some tentative links with Desiree Douy. He might be going to Bayern Munich. It's all gone a little quiet. But we do have some news here coming out from journalist Giovanni Albanese, and he's with Get Italian Football News. He's claiming that both Manchester United and Bayern Munich have inquired about Federico Chiesa this summer. And he also adds that Chiesa's agent has also spoken with Chelsea and Tottenham this summer as well. Chiesa has 1 year left on his contract at Juve. He's open to a move. Juventus reportedly want between 25 and 30 million euros for Chiesa, but it sounds like they're willing to negotiate. Gio Albanese, he claims as well that Chiesa actually prefers United. I don't know how you can tell that, but apparently that's according to the report. Chiesa would choose United over the other suitors. Do you think we need a winger? Who do we have? Obviously a lot of people would sell Antony. I think Sancho could still go either way. I know a lot of people want Ahmad to get more minutes. Rashford is fighting for his spot for a lot of fans and probably for Ten Hag this season. And then Garnacho continues to develop very well. So we probably need to sell Sancho, Pellistri, potentially loan out Antony first before, who knows though. I think just similar to how we might need to sell a player to get De Ligt, sell Casemiro to get a midfielder. I think right now we're in that sell to buy kind of phase. But would you take Chiesa? I know he had a bad injury a few years ago. He's kind of been on the fringes. I know Juve are trying to bring in some wingers as well. Who were they linked with the other day? I just mentioned it too. But it sounds like, Adeyemi from Dortmund, basically another wide player. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on. But as we're talking about wingers, nice little segue. Reportedly, Jadon Sancho and PSG have reached an agreement in principle on personal terms. Manchester United are demanding 60 million euros for him, but this is coming from French outlet Sport Zone. And now I'm going to add to this just before I went live. Centre Devils on Twitter is claiming now that PSG and United have stepped up in the negotiations and actually have agreed on a transfer fee. They've agreed in principle basically to a deal for Jadon Sancho to go to PSG. Is that 60 million euros? Is that a decent price for Sancho? It sounds, Sancho and Ten Hag had the meeting. They kind of drew a line, agreed to disagree, whatever you want to call it, and moved on. He's featured in the preseason. He's joined up with the squad. Everything seems rosy in the garden, right? And I mentioned, and a lot of people said the same thing. It doesn't mean that Sancho is going to be at United next season. It just means that Ten Hag and Sancho have basically just agreed to put their differences aside. Sounds like PSG and United have agreed to a deal in principle. The reports are too coming out this weekend that Sancho and PSG have agreed personal terms. It looks like that could be all wrapped up maybe sometime this week as well. I think that could be a really good move for Sancho personally. I mentioned that months ago. We'll see how that goes. If we were interested in someone like Chiesa, I think we would need to move Sancho on. PSG are one of the few clubs who can afford some decent wages, like the kind of wages that we're giving Sancho. So would you sell Sancho? Would you keep him? Do you think that he should get a second chance? Do you still hold a grudge that he basically chose not to play for us last season after all that drama? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And again, just to wrap up today, that was not too many little tidbits, but some big stuff. But just to wrap up, let's all wish a very, very happy birthday to a former United player and, in my opinion, United legend Michael Carrick. It is his birthday today. One of the most underrated players that we've ever had, in my opinion. I've got his shirt over there somewhere that'll be going in a frame at some point once I get some more picture frames and find some more wall space. I have his autobiography back here somewhere. It's called Between the Lines. Check it out if you haven't. He's pretty open in his autobiography. He talks about how he's not ever been like a super kind of self-confident kind of person, very reserved, very quiet. And that's had some ups and downs in terms of just his career as well. There were times when, because of that lack of confidence, he wasn't super confident and didn't back himself enough in some situations on the pitch. So give that a read. I love Michael Carrick as a player. I think he's a good leader in the dressing room. Obviously, he's been doing very, very well with Middlesbrough since he took over after leaving our coaching staff. So happy birthday, Michael Carrick. And if you ever want to come back and coach again, you're more than welcome. But that is going to do it for me today, everyone. I know it was another little bonus video this afternoon, but I thought, why not? Let's just pop on and share some of the developments. Let me just check one more time to see if there's anything going on. Fabrizio Romano is actually claiming that this coming week will be an important week for Manchester United in the transfer market. Many things could happen. United are working on several deals. Yeah, that's like what I just said. It sounds like between Mazraoui, De Ligt, Sancho, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, it sounds like it could be like 2 or 3 in, 3 or 4 out, like with Palestri as well, Links, Ericsson maybe too. This could be probably maybe one of the biggest periods this week coming up of the transfer market so far. I know we started off strong, getting Euro, getting Xerxes in, but I think this could be a big, big week. So keep your eyes peeled, keep that notification bell clicked. You know that I'm going to drop by with the breaking news as things develop, getting your thoughts. I don't want to listen to myself talk. I want to listen to you guys. So thank you guys for stopping by today. That is going to do it. If you are watching after the fact, just let me know some of your thoughts and reflections and feedback and opinions in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new. And let me know if you guys are planning on watching that next match against Real Betis this week. So take these, guys. Enjoy what is left of your Sundays, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.